We are live.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Savage Lands Dev Weekly Chat. You have your community manager here, Kittychix, and on the other end of the interwebs, which I think I actually need to point that way to get to Chris, is Chris, our game director, Chris Rubio, or aka Euryidium. So welcome. Yay. Thank you for
Hello,
joining
everybody. Us. Do I look tired? I'm really
tired.
I don't know.
I literally cannot see
that's
you.
right. You cannot see me.
The
Hey,
stream
Chloe.
has not caught up yet. So
why don't you check out our stream, Chloe?
I will. Go. There we go. All right.
You got a little echo there, Chloe.
Oh, you know what? There we go. Try that. Am I still echoing through you? Hopefully not.
I think we'll be good.
Okay, I just muted Steam. All right, so for those of you who joined us last week, we showed off the bow.
That sounds like
Yay! And now we have actually released the bow. So if you haven't actually gotten a chance to update this morning, Game Update 4 is now live to everybody. And we are working away at Game Update 5. Not 10, 5. We do not have a exact ETA just yet. It is still being worked on. Hasn't actually entered testing quite yet, so we will keep you posted as we get more information. Let's talk a little bit about more Game Update 4. Chris, we did a bunch of work on different weapons and bags and a whole bunch of work on recipes. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've, as everybody, hopefully everybody, how's chat looking, Chloe, before we get started?
We're good. Everything's
looking good? People are chatting?
They are.
Great. Okay, I can see everybody now. I'm sorry. I'm so old and slow. So we've been doing a lot of work. As you guys saw, we're now kind of in a state where we're getting build. We're to go back to weekly builds, but we've gotten ahead of ourselves so that we can keep that nice ebb and flow moving. This week's update, Game Update number 4, has landed. It landed 10 a.m. this morning, Pacific Standard Time, which is filled with tons of awesome. As many of you saw, we've been kind of working through a lot of different issues, from trying to address issues with crafting and weapons, and as we move through early access, it's going to be a bumpy ride. So I know I made some changes. I took out the wood requirements to a lot of the crafting recipes and put in coal because I wanted to make it incredibly painful for you guys to craft stuff, because I know you guys love the pain that is the Savage Lands. But in essence, I was actually I was experimenting with stuff, and you'll see me do that quite often when I add new things, is to experiment to see what your reaction is as players, but also to see, over time, if it makes sense to use it in the way, a component, if it makes sense to use it in the way that I want to use it. So bear with us. A lot of cool stuff is on the horizon. We'll talk about Game Update number 5 that we kind of already have in the pipeline. And share some info with you on that. But if you take a look at our Game Update 4 notes, we got a ton of stuff. I pulled worn weapons. You can no longer craft them. They're droppable items. Made some changes to like the crude spike club. I know a lot of people have been were a little worried that the mace, the bone skull mace that I have, it used to be a rare weapon, but I dropped it to uncommon. I did that because when I look at that weapon, I see an incredibly, it's not durable. It's made out of bone. You're not going to go around, hitting it like it's ebon steel. It's not ebon steel. It is bone. So it's going to degrade over time, and it shouldn't have been as powerful as it is. But I did make it relatively easier to craft so that you guys can have, a really cool looking weapon. I did bump up like the flesh wrapped hammer to make it, more powerful. We're also going to be, I'm not going to get ahead of myself here, because I was just about to jump into something else. In addition to tweaks to like the Savage Steel Cleaver and Blackened Steel, which, by the way, the Blackened Steel Sword and Wolfsbane, there's going through some tweaks. I'm actually going to push Blackened Steel up into the rare category, and Wolfbane will kind of sit in between. It'll be like the highest tier of uncommon. Lycor's drop spawns will be fixed in Game Update number 5, guys. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I messed up on that one. So, but in essence, though, we fixed a ton of stuff. You guys now have dire bear hide backpacks, flesh wrap bags, that have, really a lot more slots now. So a lot of cool stuff. We fixed a lot of bugs. From our perspective, this build has been incredibly stable. So we're super excited with how it's landed and how well it's been received. How was that, Chloe?
Yay. That was awesome. And we did touch a little bit on it, both in my preamble and what Chris was just talking about. But one of the reasons why we've shifted what we had been doing for our updates and how we're going to be handling them starting sort of last week and moving forward is we're trying to give ourselves a little bit more time on the development side, which is why we pushed that week, or that the beta then public patch or public update by a week. And that's in order to actually give us time to really make sure that when things are in beta, that if there is a major crash, or a major FPS issue, like say with theirs, for example, that we've had seen, we would have time within that week to actually say, okay, we need to fix this, and then have a far more stable build that's actually going to the public. So that's sort of why we put in that extra week. As Chris said, we've given ourselves a buffer time, and you won't, knock on wood, fingers crossed, likely see too many of those weeks like that. We are trying to still maintain the update schedule that we had worked on, but when we do come to it, or when it comes right down to it, is that we need to make sure that when we're pushing builds out to the public branch, that they are stable, because that is the experience that the majority of players are actually playing through. And it sucks to come in and be like, wow, this game is broken. That was a serious waste of my time and cash and other things. So we are trying to make sure that what we're putting out is far more stable than just, oh, we want to maintain a breakneck update speed. We do. We just want it to be fast, not neck breaking, if that makes sense.
Hey, for those guys that are just joining, I did host the game. It is Euryidium's Fantasy Island. The password is signal, all lowercase, and the letter and the number 1. So feel free to join. For you guys watching, I'm gonna make my way up to Argo, and if you have some cool armor for me, that would be fantastic. Even though I'm the dev and I should be the one giving out cool armor, but because our builds are separated, and a lot has changed in the next update in regards to armor. There's some disparities between giving myself stuff. So we encountered some issues this morning, which I apologize for. So it caused some problems, but that will be fixed in the next patch.
Yay, patch. So, speaking of the next patch, before we get into the questions, some of which may actually refer to the information that we're just about to state, let's talk a little bit about Update 5.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So, Chris, what could we possibly expect to see in Update 5?
I got my notes right here that I've already tweaked as of the last, that I've made over the last several days. Pine Strong boxes, I've increased the slots up to 30.
Ooh, that's going to be very popular.
I've reduced the ore requirement from medium quality to low quality ore. Let's see. We've added charcoal to the game for something really cool that's coming down the pipe. Now, torches. I've made some changes to torches, and I know all of you are just going to go boo and him and ha and hate me. But when you throw torches on the ground, they will now burn out. They will decay over time. So
but it's okay, because we are adding in the what are the globes called?
They're chaos, basically chaos orbs. Now these orbs, we've had some trouble with them, so they might not make it into Game Update 5. I want to get some really cool effects on them. We don't. The lighting works. We got the animations working, but I want some cool emissives on the orbs themselves so that you can see them at night. And we're having some issues art-wise on that, but we're going to work it out. And once I have them in, they'll be really cool. So, and I'm probably going to do 2 versions, one that you can hold in your hand and another that you'll place out into the world that will have a larger light radius. So I'm still experimenting with that. I actually pulled them off our update list because I wanted to do more experimentation. And that'll also, when those go in, we're also going to be putting in a new mineral, which is chaos gem fragments, which will be pretty cool.
So we may see, in fact, we will probably see a delay with the chaos orb, but there's a reason for that. Okay.
That is cool. And I know all of you will be very happy to hear that we've added the correct icon to the flesh wrap bag. I know that has been killing people, the fact that it was using the torn rucksack icon. But here we go.
I think more people will be upset to see that the Savage Wolf Helm no longer has the wolf head on it, and it's now just a regular icon. Well, it's not a regular icon. It is its actual icon.
It is the correct icon.
Right. So, but at some point that item will probably come back, right? The thing that the wolf head is actually attached to.
It is the wolf.
Was that just a template?
Yes, it was called the Great Wolf Mantle. I want to redo the art.
That's the thing that I keep asking to see, and I always forget when I'm in studio.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's going to be a mantle that fits on top of your head. Classic kind of. Your face kind of pops out of the wolf's mouth, and but I want to get the fur on it so it blows in the wind and looks really cool. I also want to make sure that we do 3 versions of it to represent the different colored, the different colored wolves in the game. So thank you, Dario. So yeah, a lot to do there, but it will eventually go back in. Hold on, guys. All right, so it'll definitely go back in, but we just have some work on the art to do.
Awesome. Very
All right, we got one of our guys here. We got Matt. You can tell he's a brawler. Looks like he has ebon gauntlets on with an ebon helm with some stuff. Looking good. I will take the sword if I can get rid of these dumb apples. Boop. All right.
The server name is Euryidium's Fantasy Island, and the password is Signal. All one word, and it's all lowercase.
Thank you, Matt.
Right? Yes?
It's all lowercase.
Yep. So Signal.
I've added some new buildables into the game. I'm already starving. Holy smokes. I forgot that I set this game up earlier. And I'm cold, too. Boy, I'm just a terrible player at this game. Look at that. Rescaled cooked meat there, which is fantastic. I'm happy about that. So yeah, a lot of work we're putting a lot into the game. We're still working. Hopefully everybody's really enjoying the bows right now. I will tell everybody out there that there might be some balance tweaks to the arrows, but I'm also looking in. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Looking at adding some additional arrow types, so to kind of scale between damage. But there we go. Well, I actually have to. That's. So we got some work to do, and there's going to be a lot of stuff. But I'm not finished with my list. We got a lot of other cool things on here.
Well, then what else are you doing? I'm watching you hit a tree on stream, so I know you're past that. But what else is on that list?
Sundered cotton will now drop off of the cotton plants that are out there in the wild. Cotton plants are kind of sparse, but as you move through the world, there are dense areas on the island that you'll find, so you can harvest and gather up a lot of cotton, so you can create cloth shreds, and those cloth shreds can be used for bandages. Yeah. They can be used for bandages, and I'm also going to come up with a variety of other recipes that sundered cotton will be part of. We've also, we've reduced the ambient volume on the Pike of Resurrection. I know some of you were like, my gosh, that thing is loud. So I went in and tuned the volume on that.
I thought it was pretty.
Another thing that I've done is I've restructured all of the start locations in the game. So there's 4 of them now. I re-enabled another spawner that was disabled that I didn't tell you guys that I disabled. But it was disabled, and I've brought them in closer together, so it'll be much easier to find your friends now. And it's easier to play within that quadrant of Argo as a new player. I'm working towards this level of balance within this start location, so we're almost there. I'm feeling good about it. But you'll notice that they've been completely redesigned in how they look in their makeup. In addition, as you're heading out the west towards one of the statues of Kerr, and then as you head east along the shore towards Vec, you're going to find some giant pillars now. There's 3 pillars on the west side that represent that you're going to be leaving that starting area. And on the hey DR, and on the lower side of the island, heading towards east towards Vec, there are 2 giant pillars, one leaning up against the other. That's how you're going to know that you're leaving on the east side of the island, heading out of the start area that we've kind of built up over there. So we're adding in more unique and recognizable locations. I've also added in a ton more camps that you can find along the way. I've also reduced, or I should say I've tweaked a lot of the spawners in the game, so I think things are feeling really good. I've increased sprint speed by 10%, so I think everybody's really going to dig that. DR just was ecstatic, so he's super pumped. DR's the president of Signal, by the way. What else? And I've also rebalanced a lot of the creatures in this start area around Argo, so you're not going to see as many wolves. And
in other words, for those individuals who are really concerned about not being able to figure out where you're spawning, so much me, you'll actually be able to either go west or east, and depending on what you immediately run into, well, not immediately, what you run into, you'll actually be able to give yourself and your fellow players who you're playing with a better idea of where you've spawned.
Yes, and that was actually the idea. Was, you know, we are listening to you. We are going to be bringing more artists on board to hit the environment, to add in some more recognizable, you know, to kind of like those really cool recognizable areas. You know, like, oh, I'm by the high mountain of Hills Pass, and you know, this way you kind of, you don't need a compass, you don't need chaos orbs to know where you're at. You can look at things. We're also going to be in time. Whoop, thank you very much, Dario. Cured meat. Ooh, I could use that. We're also going to be I hear a wolf. We're going to be re-arting out the dragon towers so that they look very distinct. So the dragon tower that's near Argo will look very different than the dragon tower near Vec, and then the dragon tower over on the other side of the island by Befallen, excuse me, will look completely and totally different. So we've got a lot of cool stuff planned, and the code team has been working on some really killer stuff, along with the art team. These guys, they've all been putting in the midnight oil on this, but we're looking, now that we have bows in, we got fire, they're looking at, we're setting it up so you'll actually be able to set trees in the world on fire now, and you can imagine where that's going to lead to, especially with a dragon in the world. So hopefully,
especially since he just got his fire added.
Yeah.
In the current update.
So, Kerr, you know, I mentioned in one of my posts that he is slowly starting to wake up, he's slowly starting to become annoyed that there are more and more exile players and, you know, lost players kind of showing up on this island that he has kind of claimed for himself. So a lot of things are changing. Game's evolving, and you know, thank you everybody for your feedback and help. I know I haven't responded on the forums all too much. 1 second. I got something in my throat. It's killing me.
Have some of your drink.
Yeah, that I don't know if that's helping. It is Coca-Cola, so. But you know, the world is changing. Your feedback is important. I haven't been on the forums as much because I've been busy redoing a lot of tweaks to the start location because I really want to get that feeling good for new players. And then I'm going to be taking what I've learned from this, all the data that we've gathered, and I'm going to start peppering out the new areas more. We also have new creatures that I've slated down that I want to get in, but I don't have an ETA on those just yet. We're also working on PvP.
Ooh, PvP. So just to tag back in about the feedback, this is something that's actually really important for me because it's a huge part of my job. What we do every week internally is I spend the better part of a day or two actually going through literally every post in the feedback forum, feedback and suggestions forum, and as well as the bug forum as well. Too many as well as in there. Anyway, and I literally, my headset's making funny noises. I'm just gonna move that real quick. I literally, you know, count the number of times somebody has requested something. Something has been requested in general. We look for feedback. You may have noticed, those of you who spend a lot of time feedback form, there's been a lot of merging of posts and things like that. That is so that I can keep a better track of when there are common requests being made. So that is actually the #1 best way to get your voice heard, is make a post in the feedback section. And that's for things that you want to see added to the game. It's not for bug reports, obviously. That is where we get our information from. And if somebody is requesting, for example, it's an oldie but a goodie, the ability to relight a fire or to get bows added, that helps us internally actually decide this is the thing that's being asked about all the time. It was further down on the list, but maybe we need to bump it up. Because we are on that that development schedule that we were talking about, where we put the patch out and then we're working already on the next one, your information may not be getting in on the next coming one, or the next most recent. Man, if we're on patch 4 right now, it may not make it for patch 5, but it could make it for update 6. So if you have feedback for us, if you have suggestions, if there's something that you think really needs to get added, make sure you're posting in that feedback section, because that's where we look as the devs to actually decide how to go about technology permitting what order to add things in. So if you see something, or you want something to be different, or you want something added, that's where you've got to post. So please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Your feedback's really important. I've also, one big change that I forgot to mention, that'll be in Game Update 6. And by the way, guys, Game Update 4 is packed full of changes. And I'm not saying, all right, we're past 4, now we're on to 5. Game Update 4 did a lot. We added bows. We added a lot of cool stuff. The team came together. We delivered. But we got to move on to Game Update 5. I took a look at a lot of the forums, and, our mining system, by the way, I hate hitting rocks. I really do. The more I played, I'm like, why did I set it up this way? It seemed to make sense at the time. And then I realized, I got to figure out a way to make this better. Reduce the number. When you have a high-quality weapon like a flesh-wrapped hammer, 2 hits, you can get stone or items out of the nodes. It would be ideal. 5 hits, 4 hits tops for a standard weapon. I'm going to work on ways to make this better and more fun, and really just work with the rarity of the items that you get out of it. Being the big surprise there. So. But one of the things I did change based on your guys' feedback was the ability to smelt ore together. So you can now take lower quality ore and combine it to make higher quality. So it's like 3 low quality ore will make 1 medium quality ore. 2 medium quality ore with coal will make 1 one piece of high quality ore. One of the other changes that I have coming down the pipe too, not sure if it'll make update number 5, but I'm going to make ingots. We're going to look at, I'm going to really broaden the ore out. So ingots being blackened iron ingot, ebon steel ingot. And that will give us more flexibility to take components and create some really cool metal types that can be crafted into armor and weapons. Sound cool?
Sounds good to me. I know this, though. I'm hoping that they have. Awesome. All right. So let's get started on some questions. We do actually have questions for this week. So in our craft, let me just see that. I thought I had done this already.
Game's running great today too.
No, that's not the one I want. I want that one. Okay. And our crafts from the forums has asked.
So hold on, Chloe, hold on. I'm going to throw this out there. Wouldn't it be cool, guys? You like that, Chloe? Sorry, Chloe. Wouldn't it be cool to have stairs that you can take all the way up to the top of the tower? I think it would be cool. I'm just saying.
I wonder what might happen in one of the upcoming patches.
I would love to. And then we could have diving competitions off the top of the tower. So when you see the dragon...
We don't actually have fall damage at the moment, do we?
We will, yes.
I was going to say that's a perfect example of one of the things that we haven't quite gotten in there. One thing that you guys probably have noticed if you've been with us for a while is that when we introduce a new system to the game, we tend to add in the base layer the basic systems at the beginning, and then over time, over updates, we add new parts to it, we add complexity to it. You can see that in a lot of the recipe and the crafting that we have now.
Or we redesign it.
Redesign it when necessary, reskin it if necessary, depending on feedback, and that's so that we oh hey, I don't have my computer plugged in. I'm gonna have to go grab my AC adapter because I was prepared today. Point being that when we add
We're going
something
to the middle of the island, boys and girls.
We want the basic gameplay component to be there, and then we add all the bells and whistles on top of that. So, right before my battery runs out, and I'm dash away a moment, Chris, here's your first question. Will there be an active block option at some point? Where are we on PvP? Where are we on blocking? Where are we on shields? Answer that while I go grab my...
Oh, boy, I just got mobbed. Where are we at with blocking? It's something I want to get in, but I gotta propose the system and how it works to the code team. And we got to come up with something that's really cool and makes sense. So, excuse me, it is something we want to do. It is, high-level concept right now, and we do actually have a few shields that are made. Well, we just got to get past a few hurdles, a few technical hurdles, like getting PvP into the product, and shaping out, getting it more playable for a wide variety of players. PvP is kind of our big focus right now. It's kind of like it's something we want to get in. We got a lot of really cool ideas. We're going to be putting in leaderboards. We're going to be putting in Steam achievements. Hopefully over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So you guys are going to see a lot of changes in that area. PvP, as you all know, we're going to be having hostile and friendly servers. So friendly being you can play cooperatively with players. Excuse me, everybody. You'll be able to play cooperatively with all your friends. You're not going to have guys coming in trying to grief you. Which will be nice. You can also password your servers. And then PvP, we got a lot of great ideas planned. I'm not going to give away anything just yet because I don't want to say anything and then the code team yell at me. And
Which is fair.
And the art team yell at me. But, we got some cool ideas on, rewarding players for those great accomplishments of defeating other players. And very Game of Thrones style type of build option that you can do once you loot another player's corpse. So pretty cool stuff. We'll give you more details in that area as we get closer. But we're going to have leaderboards. We're going to have PvE leaderboards as well. So we'll be tracking things, hopefully like items, number of items created by a player. So if you're a crafter, you'll be on that leaderboard, could be one of the top players. We're going to also be tracking distance traveled, all that kind of cool stuff. Hopefully. Don't quote me on it, but these are some of the things I'd like to do. So yeah, we got some cool stuff planned.
All right, and off of that, because I like it when questions link to link. So at the moment, this is from Red Angle. At the moment, very few players seem to host public games. PvP will be coming soon, so I think most of us want to know if the issue with door locks and chest locks, which are currently not in the game at all, will be. Also, it would be nice to see the stats of the weapons that cannot be forged. At the moment, besides the craft journal, you can't see anywhere the stats of weapons and armor. That's actually some feedback that we got, is that people would like to see more of the stats be visible.
I agree with you. I do believe that we need a nice mouse over tooltip system that calls out rarity, much like you would find in any RPG. And that's something I definitely will bring up to code and we can work with on the code side. So yeah, we definitely, even if it's a dropped item, we got to make sure that those stats are all exposed to the players. So that's something that we'll get to. We're also, in regards to, hold on here, Chloe. I gotta get my bearings. Hold on, guys. Sorry. So there's that. Players being able to host, we're trying to keep it very flexible for the different types of players out there. I think, Savage Lands is one of the very few games that actually lets you play offline and then take your stuff from offline and go play on hosted servers, which I think is really cool. Not a lot of players, not a lot of games do that. It's it's kind of hard to do. Giving players the freedom to password their servers, to keep certain players out. And we're also looking at adding options. We're exploring increasing the player count. There's some things that we got to work out with the AI first, because there's a lot. Want to make sure we have our perf issues solid. And I mentioned this many times in other streams at how we kind of phased out our implementation of increasing players and PvP and all that good stuff. We're also going to be looking at a dedicated server option. I don't have an ETA on that because, again, code has to evaluate where we're at, what makes sense, and I am totally turned around. Normally, this doesn't happen. We're working on a lot of different solutions. We got a lot of different ideas in the pipeline. I also have some ideas on how we can ease up player death a little bit. I know that everybody, the more I play, because I really enjoy the game just as much as many of you guys do. I want to make player death just a little bit easier. So I want to add in some, I'm talking with the code team, or I will be talking with the code team about some ideas like when you're in 100 meters of your corpse, displaying a little skull icon on screen so you know where it's at, as well as doing something with the skull, the pike of resurrection, so you can use that as kind of a homing beacon. So I got some cool ideas. I got to run it by the code team, which I probably just did. But again, these are all ideas. We got to work out what makes the most sense, what those guys can do, and where it would land within our update path.
Yep. Everything has to go through a couple of phases of discussion, of realistically, of planning and stuff like that. So, working on it. working on it.
So this is the trouble of leading a group of hardened battle soldiers, and then the general forgets the direction that he's supposed to go.
Good job.
This is what's I'm like.
See, this is why I don't play on these streams anymore, because I can't do that and talk.
I want to, because I'm looking for forest giants. I want to go kill some forest giants.
You want to go get splattered, is what I hear.
Yeah,
okay. Coal requirements versus availability. Now, of course, we are keeping in mind that your questions were posted earlier this week, so there are some of these things that may actually have been adjusted in the patch if you weren't on beta to the public, so we do keep that in mind. Coal requirements versus availability, and this is from Lyle. Are the recipe costs going to be lowered? The drop rates increased? What about the idea of removing the coal requirements from the recipes and making forges work like fire pits, but with coal?
There was a really good idea that I saw on the forums about that, and I might actually implement that idea. The guys are VoIPing right now. So I may implement that idea. We'll see. I have for the short term, because I got to figure out how coal work, the best ways to use coal and what makes sense for the different recipes. So right now, with coal, in game update 5, when you mine, you'll actually get coal in clumps of 3. So right now it's individual coal. I know it's really hard. We have the way the droppers are set up. They're actually a lot of droppers depending on the size of the rock. I want to make sure that players get enough components for the short term. So coal's going to be going through some rework. The recipes are going to be going through some rework. We're going to be looking at tweaking how some of the drops in the larger rocks work. So just hang in there. It's all balancing and tweaking and fun. I want to make sure that the payoff for crafting and mining and the things that you make is solid. So it feels really good.
Is that better? Can you hear me better now?
So.
And Chris is still lost, looking for a forest giant.
Well, I'm on the slope of the island.
Yeah.
I got to get my bear.
You're working.
Yeah, the guys. I applaud the guys following me. It's like, all right, guys, this way. It's almost like a Monty Python's episode. So
unfortunately, we don't have any. We don't yet have the ability. Nor actually, do I know if we're going to? We don't have the ability to do viewing.
Imbuing?
Oh my god. Yeah, with the in-game.
Oh, like adorning weapons and stuff? Not yet, yeah, but it's something that as we weave magic into the world, we'll definitely add.
Oh no! I'm thinking like when you're doing esports commentating, basically the equivalent of the commentator's view. We don't have that, so we can't see this great big huge line of individuals
Hey, it's okay if you guys
stretched
leave me,
out
but
as
someone
they
make
run
a
after him.
fire so I can warm
That's
up.
what I was trying to get at. Why don't we do a quick
So
game giveaway?
cold.
Yay, game giveaway.
Yay!
What do you want the keyword to be? I'm gonna make you double.
Coal.
Spectating. Yes, Sean, that's exactly what I was looking for. Wow, I suck today.
Well,
Yeah,
was
spectators
nice of you.
mode. I got nothing, guys.
What is the
All right.
keyword? The keyword should be coal.
Coal. All right. The keyword is coal, everyone. So this is a giveaway for Savage Lands game code. We're gonna pick a couple of winners, and if you have the game already, at this point, cool, awesome. You won't get anything new, but you know you could always give it to a friend. You could give it away on the stream. It's up to you. It will be your code to do what you will with it. So yeah.
Yeah,
So-
one of the cool things we're going to do too is we're going to talk to the code team in the future. About adding, being able to give you guys like some more, in-game giveaways and stuff like that. Giving my character God mode so I can spawn, some of this stuff in. We can only do that right now on the debug builds, but we got to find out a good solution because I want to make sure that everybody that joins my server hangs out, plays, creates fire, and helps me find the forest giants that I placed into the world.
It's like we don't know our own game.
I when I'm not paying attention, I get lost. Usually, I just follow certain bits in the Sky Dome, but and that'll actually be fixed as we add more unique things to the environment. So we got a lot of cool stuff. But hopefully, everybody's enjoying what they see, what they're playing with. We are pretty much we are staying true to. Building on the game. I know a lot of players out there have said, "Oh, it's early access. You guys are in it for the cash grab." No, we're not here for the cash grab. We are here to make a great game, and hopefully that shows. So, I want to thank everybody out there that's been playing. All of you guys out there that have close to the same amount of hours in the game now that I have, which is insane. And I'll make sure that there are special achievements in the game for you guys because you guys are the power players. You guys are the ones that are helping us pave the way for a better experience in the long run. All right, so forest giants, and it's getting dark.
Oh, you guys are gonna have so much fun. All right, so
And
while you're doing
I don't
that,
have my wolf fur either, so this is not good. All right, so you see in the horizon. If I look this direction, by the way. That opening right there in the skyline. I know. Oh, there goes Kerr as he gets drawn out. I know if I go that direction, that is you head towards like Argo. It's more like this right here. You head towards Argo and the start location. So we're on a relatively good path and to where we need to be, but God, I'm terrible.
if anyone who is currently playing with Chris has a better idea of which direction to go in, jump up and down in front of him and take him by the hand and perhaps...
Yeah, is Sean or Krazek are they in this?
Sean's in the stream, but not currently in game, I don't think.
All right.
So, all right. While you are figuring your directions out, I'm going to ask you more questions because I'm going to make.
All right, let's just keep the questions going.
All right. So, armor cost versus duration. We've been seeing a fair amount of feedback in the forums about this, where some people are a little concerned with the higher tiers of armor, with what they cost and how long they actually sort of survive, and
Durability.
Durability. Yes, exactly. Thank you. The words are not mine.
So
from Lyle today, here's the actual question.
Okay.
Are there any plans to further tweak the cost versus durability of the end tier armors? They seem to get destroyed far too quickly for the amount of materials that are put into them.
Oh, I bet you. Is that what I think? Hold on. So, durability. Good old durability. I know a lot of players have questions about durability. Do I look like I'm trying to skirt the answer?
Yeah, totally. remember that whole, this is the dev answer from the 1990s?
So,
here's the dev answer for making games in the
Here's so one of the things that I can do. Are you guys ready for this? Instead of tweaking durability, I could reduce creature damage. So there's a couple different ways I can go with it. We also got to, I'm also right now, when I balanced out a lot of this stuff, I'm also taking into consideration PvP as well. Once PvP comes online, that's going to be a huge factor in terms of how we balance the armor, or not how we balance the armor, but in the decisions that we're going to make in terms of durability, damage, and whatnot, and how I'll also balance the creatures, because I want to try to have this unique harmony. I don't want to go World of Warcraft style. Oh, we have two different, we have battlegrounds and then we have PvE. It's just madness to go that route. So once PvP comes online, I'll have a better idea of where we stand, because I want to see how those weapons, player weapons, stand up against the durability based on the calculations that I already have. It's going to be pretty brutal to take down somebody in Ebon Steel, even with a Grey Reaver. So one of the things I might do in the short term is tone down some of the creature damage.
And that's a constantly evolving, constantly continuing battle that we have as game developers, is that you guys have to look at game balance as it's not just one separate section. Chris is talking about PvP versus PvE. Well, there's also the concept of balancing against, lower level enemies to higher level enemies, and where you guys are as individual players within, your development in the game. Are you just starting out? Have you built up all of this crazy armor or not? Savage Lands is a difficult game, which is something that we are paying attention to, don't get me wrong. But, Chris, you can't jump that rock.
No, I can't do it. I was trying. I'm terrible. Sorry, guys. My reflexes are just too shabby.
I'm curious to watch, because I know he's 30 seconds, further beyond where I'm seeing things, too. So the point is that, when we look at balance, it's not just, we're looking at what is the armor like against the top tier. We also have to look at what is the armor balance and durability cost against every single enemy in the game, against all the different situations that you could find yourself in. So balance is more of a complicated mesh and web than just one small item at, the...
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So
there are reasons why there are people whose entire jobs are dedicated to just game balance in a larger studio. So keep that in mind.
if it's any consolation out there, or I'm going to throw this out there in terms of how my mind works, how I balance the game. I balance a lot by feel, and this comes from my roots back when I used to balance RTS games. How units feel, how creatures play, how weapons feel, because I want, when you attack a particular type of creature, I want it to play a particular type of way. So I try to balance it in that regard. So I try to balance damage and power based on size of creature in most cases. There are some cases where that's very different, but weapons play a particular or swing a particular type of way, and that's we're in this phase. The game is technically alpha, and if I was using RTS terms, we got about 5, 6, 7 more months to go before we of balancing before we get to a really good place. Not that it's okay right now, but a lot of tweaking.
It's completely playable.
Yes.
That's not the point.
Tweaking and tuning is going to happen, and you guys just got to bear with us. I'm trying to minimize the things that I nerf. I feel pretty good about the changes that I made as of late. So going forward, anything that I implement will be added within these bands of rarity that I now have. And I also try to match up damage and durability based upon how the weapon looks. So visually, you're like, oh yeah, that's a stone hammer with a very crude, hatchet. So I try to make everything look and feel and play, how you visualize it, how it's seen in the world. So is it perfect? By no means. Will it get to be pretty good? Absolutely. So balance is an ongoing thing. Just, welcome aboard the Savage Lands bus. It's going to be a wild and crazy ride.
Yep. And, for sort of a perspective thing, we started taking feedback from you guys. We went into alpha, in early alpha in February. We are just wrapping up we haven't even actually really hit the end of our second month where we're having outside influence and feedback being given to us. So, yes, it's not a finished game. It is early alpha, early access, really. And that is exactly what that definition really should mean, is that it is a work in progress. So that's not that we're not trying to give excuses or anything like that, but we do want everybody to sort of keep that in the back of their heads that we are working on it and we are taking feedback from it. But, you know, that's something that we need you guys to constructively and, you know, competently give to us when you're playing, because, you know, we don't have months of development and months of game testing already sunk into this. You know, we're coming up on the end of month 11, I think, right, Chris? We're 9 into early alpha, 10 with the first month, so we're just about to hit month 11.
Yeah.
So from you know, creation to now, that's 11 months of work, guys. There's a ton that's been done, and there's a ton more to do. But just sort of keep that in the back of your head when we're working through all this stuff. So
yeah,
we appreciate your support. Absolutely, don't get us wrong. But
and I'll be the first to say that I love your guys' suggestions. I love your feedback, and I go to that forums. I may not post on every thread, but I do read almost every thread, and so does our team, and we do discuss those threads as well. I would love, and I'm going to throw this out there. I have some ideas for PvP. We do have kind of we have some ideas that we're going to be implementing, but for PvP, if you guys want to go to our Steam forums, Savage Land Steam forums, and go to our feedback and suggestions area and submit ideas for PvP on what you guys think would be really cool, I would love to hear your thoughts on how we can make a really compelling, PvP experience. Things like, hey, if you control all 3 of the dragon towers, Kerr will fight for you. Those types of things. So, I mean, that's
not a promise that if you manage to control all 3 towers, that Kerr will be on your side.
But that's an extreme example. Or you control a tower and it gives you a special buff. Or you find a monolith and you control the 3 monoliths and you get a special ability.
Wait a second, there are 3 monoliths?
I didn't say that, did I?
You did.
So, I'd love to hear your guys' ideas. I'd love to crowdsource this. So please head over to our forums and let me know what you think. I think we can create something awesome. So just I'm going to throw that out there.
Yep.
Feed me more.
Feed us.
Yeah, we love ideas, guys. So
speaking of those, I see someone playing with it. You have. Okay,
I would prefer to stay away from any ideas that require the player to sit on a throne and you can tax everybody that plays on your server.
There's another game perhaps that is out that is doing that, and if that's the kind of thing that you want to do, or you know what, Fable 3, that also was a mechanic in that game.
Fable 3 was a great game. I love Fable.
I love okay, total sidetrack. I'm very excited about the new game coming out.
Right.
Anyway, so bows.
What about bows? Anybody want ebon steel arrows? I think ebon steel arrows would be pretty awesome, or blackened iron arrows. Those would be pretty cool too, right?
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Should I yell at Ted? Hey, Ted, go make let's make those. Yeah, Ted. Ted's my other designer. He's awesome. I got to bring Ted into the stream. Ted's super awesome.
You should. It would be quite amusing.
We could talk recipes and prefabs.
Here's my actual question, since you keep cutting me off. Will bow durability go down if you miss? And what are your thoughts on shooting an arrow through fire? When we have the ability to have fire arrows, will an arrow be lit by shooting it through fire?
Wow, that's super elaborate. I haven't even gotten that far yet. I just think of tipped fire arrows, but shooting an arrow through a campfire doesn't light the camp. That's like Robin Hood style. No. I don't think it was. Does it light the fire? I think it does. The fire light the arrow. No.
Question, Matt. So
that's a great question. Are we going to hit that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That's definitely down the road. I want to get fire-tipped arrows in first, which means that we got to come up with a fuel component that you got to put on the tip of the arrows, like dipped in some type of oil. Which is cool, right? You got to have type of flammable component that you tip to the arrows, and then firing the arrows, and then the arrows land on a tree, and then the tree bursts in flame. Or my favorite, the wood structures. You fire a couple arrows on the wood structures, and then those wood structures catch on fire. Now, of course, here's one of those crazy sadistic scenarios where you got people inside that wood house, and then you quickly build a lean-to in front of the door so they can't get out, and then the house catches on fire. That's pretty crazy, right? But that would be an awesome YouTube video.
Yeah, sure. I'm never gonna play this game with you ever. You would troll me so hard. I just no.
We could wrap them in cloth as well. It could be a combination. It could be
there are plenty of options, and which is kind of the point, is that we are just at the point of planning those out, of developing those out. So if you have ideas on it, make a pin, make a post in the forums, and not everybody has to make a brand new pin or brand new post. You can tag team off of other stuff. Use the search functionality. See if anybody else has posted about your idea before, because otherwise your threads are just going to get merged. Fair warning. We do our best to try and keep sort of conversations together. But that being said, we want your thoughts and feedback on what kind of arrows you would like to see, or other buildings. Asking for additional buildings to get added is great, but we would, if you give us ideas like
Chloe,
specific things, that's much easier for us.
For those who want to know, in game update number 5, let me. I don't know if I added it to my notes yet. There are
probably not
4 new buildable items.
Ooh. Now, when you say buildables, they aren't just necessarily buildings. Like buildables.
No. So this time around, I added some cool props. You can build the Banner of Conquest. You can build a wooden crucifix. You can see those in some of the towers with the little heads. You can build cages now, and you'll also be able to build weapon racks. Woohoo!
Now, can you store weapons on the weapon racks?
Oh man, I knew that question was going to come up. Not yet.
Me, it would come from the community, so
I was tempted to put a chest component on those, but then I thought, man, I know I'm going to cause some problems if I do this, and I might get yelled at from code. So, not yet, but give it time.
And we've talked about this a little bit. I just saw Ryu post this in the chat. We have talked about we made a change a couple of patches ago, or a couple updates ago now, where building outlines and blueprints that aren't finished will erode over time, and that was because they weren't being used necessarily in the way that we had intended them. They were being used for navigation primarily, and that's very resource intensive. But what about being able to completely level buildings that you have you've already placed, you've already completed? So if you have a town hall and you don't want it there anymore, or more probably specifically, buildings that are pre-populated in the game, and that would be things like stuff that you find in Argo and stuff like that, and sort of to clear out space because maybe a player wants to create their own version of Argo, or for material reconstruction. What do you think of that?
Loot up, guys. Get the pelt. That was a plague wolf that we just took down.
Not the answer to my question.
Sorry, yeah. And that's that concludes our time here. No, so what was the question, Chloe? I got distracted by the plague wolf.
TLDR, are you going to allow players to destroy buildings that either they have completed or that you have put into the building?
Yes. Thank you. You summed it up for me. That would be phase 2 of our building deconstruction phase. We're not there yet. Right now we're in the middle of working on PvP stuff, but we'll definitely come back around the horn on buildings. I think it's a good idea. I think our code team would think it's a good idea, but we got to make sure that we come up where it makes sense. You guys hear me say it all the time. Does it make sense? Come up with a good system where it works for the player. We want to make sure that you realize what you're getting. The stuff that you get back in return, be it partial components, whatever. We just got to make sure it works, but it's definitely phase 2 of the building system.
Yep. And that's fair. We're honest. One of the things that we always say is that we do try and be as completely honest as we can, completely transparent, unless there is business reason. And happily, we can say that so far we have not actually had to use business reason for that. We've been able to be really transparent with you guys. So
Somebody got a torch. Master Shake there lit up a torch. I'm like, that's what I need is a torch. It's starting to get cold.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys hear that? You hear the chirpers? Those are, yeah. Listen closely. You can hear the chirpers out there. Those are crickets that have adapted to the cold environment of the Sundered Isle.
AKA, we went, oops. Oh, hand
No,
wave.
sorry, that's legit.
Hand wave.
The audio
More.
team is awesome, man. Our audio guys they've done some great
I
stuff.
am not complaining at all about what Ben has done. I just was like, oh, I didn't even think about whether a cricket or a chirper would survive in the cold or not. So
If you slow the audio down for the chirpers, it almost sounds like an opera. No,
you've listened to that, I'm assuming.
I'm just saying you guys can Google that.
Oh, okay.
Google that.
Chirpers or crickets?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're almost at the end. I'm going to do one more giveaway. But a little bit about, just before we do that, so you need to give me a new keyword. What's your new keyword going to be, Chris?
Hold on.
Okay. I'm holding.
We'll do
I'm ready to type.
sundered cotton, all one word.
Okay, and this is how you spell that. It's in chat. Okay, so while you guys go ahead and type that in, I'm going to give you the last question while you're off and people are entering sundered cotton for another giveaway of the game.
All right. Since we're coming to a close here, I think I will venture out into the cleansing waters.
You're going to go kill yourself. And here's your question from Nightmare on the forums. I'm curious though.
Everybody's looking at me like, what's he doing? Sorry, Chloe. This guy's crazy.
Why do I even bother? But you are nuts.
All right.
I'm curious about decided to go with Unity for making the game instead of some other engine. Not as a negative complaint, but just as a curiosity from someone who is wanting to switch from 3D games to 2D. Or sorry, to 3D from 2D game development.
We chose it because it gave us the most flexibility in what we wanted to do. It's very well supported by the Unity team. I've used a lot of proprietary engines in my day as a developer, as well as Unreal back probably about 8 years ago. But for us, it made the most sense. Incredibly flexible. We could import assets. Existing assets that we had that we could reuse and use, and also there's a lot of cool stuff that we could access from the Unity store if we wanted to pull stuff. It's just a great tool. It's a very easy to use tool that allowed us to get off the ground very quickly and start making a game.
And I think that's fair. All right, so the winners are Skyani. Type that into chat. That one. And Devlin Pixie, who is a big streamer of ours. So
Devlin Pixie, nice.
All right. Awesome.
I'm gonna hit this rock until it gives me something I want. Radiant gems. Come on. Here we go. Radiant gems.
While you are, just wanted to say thank you to everybody for joining us today. As always, make sure you follow us here on Twitch so you know when we go live. Make sure you follow us on Steam. Just click the follow button on the store page and then you get updates. You get all of our announcements, when patches go out, important updates about the game other than patch notes. You'll get notified when these streams go live, any events that we ever do. Follow us on Facebook, whack Savage Lands Game, on Twitter, at Savage Lands Game, or always check for the most recent updates on our actual official website, which is savagelandsgame.com. And thank you to everyone for joining us today, and keep posting those feedback suggestions and all your bugs that you might find, and we will get on them. Thanks, guys.
Yep. So, can I do my sign out, Chloe?
Yes, you may.
You almost made it sound official, and so I want to thank everybody for hanging out and playing today, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for giving me some cool stuff. I will make sure the next stream we do, when I host a server, I will repay the favor with lots of cool stuff. You know, like crude axes. That'll be great. And crude hammers. Who wouldn't want those? I mean, why would you want like a wolf's bane or a bow, right? No, just,
no idea.
I
no idea.
So I want to thank everybody. Please head to our forums. I want to hear your PvP ideas. Keep posting in the feedback forums. Everything you guys do for us is greatly appreciated. We got a new patch coming out. We're going to post up the game update preview, which you guys all love. We're going to post that up tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a beta version by the weekend, but I can't make any promises. But we'll let you know when that does go up.
Absolutely.
This list will continue to grow by the end of today. And, yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Savage Lands is... We're really happy with the way things are going and the support that we're getting from the fans, guys. You've really helped make this a great game. So
Absolutely.
We got a lot of cool stuff planned on the horizon. We'll definitely keep you privy to all that. And I definitely love, if you haven't friended me yet on Steam, please look me up, Euryidium. I'll be more than happy to add you to my friends list. And then, of course, you'll ask, why are you always busy, Euryidium? And why are you always playing Savage Lands? That's because I'm always busy playing Savage Lands, adding new stuff to the world, making changes based on what you guys want. So thanks again, guys, and I look forward to next week. We'll come up with some cool ideas maybe for the next stream, see what we can do. But until then, thank you.
Peace out.
All right, peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Go to log on.